Raphael Varane to Manchester United. The Frenchman, Real Madrid centre-back, is getting linked tonight with Manchester United. Now, he's been linked with Manchester United in the past. Could have signed for Manchester United in the past before Real Madrid. 23 years of age, currently out injured with a thigh injury, so obviously didn't take part in any of the European Championships, which was obviously a shame for him. But he's played under Jose Mourinho before at Real Madrid, so they probably have a good working relationship. And Manchester United, it seems, are in the hunt for another centre-back. Now, I did say in my last video that it wasn't a preference to me that Manchester United should definitely go out and sign another centre-back. I would have preferred other players in other positions, but I've really thought long and hard over the last 24 hours, and I certainly wouldn't be against another centre-half signing at all. I would sooner sign more players than we actually need because of the injury problems we've had over the last couple of seasons. Certainly with the likes of Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo. Well, Marcus Rojo will probably go, but Phil Jones is certainly injury prone along with Marcus Rojo. Daley Blind isn't good enough to win you the league at centre-back. Then you're looking around and scratching your heads at how many centre-backs we've actually got. You know, Chris Smalling, as good as he was last season, towards the end of the season, I thought he tailed off a bit. And then especially in the FA Cup final, and I don't think he had the best of Euros with England. True, none of the England players performed anywhere near their high standards, but I just think his performances have dropped off a bit. I don't think that Chris Smalling is at the elite level yet at all, and does need to improve if Manchester United are to consistently be challenging and winning for Premier Leagues and European trophies. Now, obviously we've signed Eric Bailly, but I'm actually not that confident if we can win the league with the back four as it is. We still could win the league with the back four. Eric Bailly, Smalling, probably Luke Shaw at left back. Hopefully he comes back fit and well from his injury. And then it will probably would be Darmin at right back. Now, them four could win Manchester United a title. You know, if Eric Bailly hits the ground running, we've got some good young players coming through the youth system. 2-1 Zabi is coming through. Would like to see him get some chances next season in and around the first team, hopefully in the Europa League and the League Cup. But I'm not too sure if we can hold out for the whole season with that. I've been thinking the last 24 hours, I thought maybe just bring 2-1 Zabi and Roshan Williams and them sort of players through the youth and we could cope. But if we do sign another centre-back, then I think it will give us a lot more strength in depth, because I'm thinking if we get far in the Europa League, FA Cup or League Cup, we could end up playing a hell of a lot of games, upwards of 65 games. Certainly that Europa League is long. So we're going to need enough centre-backs, and if Phil Jones is out for a long while, Mourinho did say he wants to keep Phil Jones, but if he gets injured again, is out for a long while, we could be snookered otherwise. And I mean, Eric Bailly may not hit the ground running. I mean, he's barely had he hasn't even had a full season at Villarreal. He didn't play every single game there, so last season, so it would be a worry. But Raphael Varane would be a player that I would take at Manchester United, but I'm not too sure that Real Madrid are actually going to sell him. You know, Ramos and Pepe are the wrong side of 30 now, so I'm not too sure. He's 23 years old, as I've said, so going to be hitting his prime in the next couple of years. I think a decent centre-back. I'm not too sure how much Real Madrid would be looking to recruit for him, because I think they will probably snip in and go for Paul Pogba if they can sell Morata as well, and James Rodriguez. That would lure a lot of money in for Real Madrid in order to make a big bid for Paul Pogba, which I think is going to happen, sadly, though I want Paul Pogba to come to Manchester United, but it will free up some space. That's why I think that they would potentially get rid of him if they do, but I've still got a feeling that Raphael Varane will stay at Real Madrid. But the other options obviously are Manolas and John Stones. We could go for one of them as well. We will have to wait and see what happens. But we could do with another centre-back. I mean, it's not an essential because we've signed Eric Bailly. If we do sign Raphael Varane, Manolas or John Stones, then I could potentially see Jose Mourinho playing Luke Shaw, obviously at left back. Then you would have Raphael Varane probably and Chris Smalling as the centre parent if we signed Raphael Varane. And then I could potentially see him playing Eric Bailly out on the right. He did play there sometime for Villarreal, from what I've heard. Haven't seen enough of him at all, but I've heard he can play on the right, in the right back position. So that could be an option if we do sign another centre back. You know, Chris Smalling and Phil Jones filled in there in their early days in order to get some experience in and around the first team, and now they've gone on to play well. Certainly, Chris Smalling's gone on to play better. Now he's playing in his preferred position. But obviously there's only 2 spots in the centre of defence. But there will be a lot of games next season, so we will have to wait and see what happens there. In other news, I think the Zlatan Ibrahimovic deal is going to get concluded on Friday, so we will break the news when it is officially announced. And the Mkhitaryan deal, I think that will probably happen Monday. Jose Mourinho is going to get unveiled on Tuesday in his first full press conference, I believe. And I think the 2 signings will be done and dusted by then. And then I think there will be two, maybe 3 more signings to come. Probably 2 more signings. Does look like Manchester United actually want a centre back, and then it will be a midfielder to conclude the summer. Hopefully there will be good signings. Hopefully it will be a good end to the transfer window, because last season I was a bit doom and gloom when the transfer window ended. I didn't think we had enough strength in depth in certain areas, and it did prove that over the season. But we will wait and see what happens this summer, because the transfer window obviously hasn't finished and we haven't finished spending at all. I mean, we could sign another 3 players after the the Mkhitaryan and the Zlatan deal. We could sign another 3, which would take our season to 6 players, which would be a decent number considering we've got some nice youthful players coming through, the likes of Fosa Mensah, obviously Rashford, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, so we would have some strength in depth then, and probably just get rid of 1 or 2. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that centre-back position. Do you think Raphael Varane could be the man for Manchester United? Personally, I wouldn't be against any of the 3 coming to Manchester United. Manolas, John Stones or Raphael Varane. I wouldn't be against any of them. Obviously, John Stones would probably be the most expensive out of the 3, so probably the other 2 would be better value for money, because we got to get probably 1 midfielder in, and if that's to be Paul Pogba, then it would set us back 80 or 90 million pounds. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.